Hi, everyone. Welcome to CareBand's second annual research webinar. Hope you're having a good Friday so far. I'm so happy you are here with us today. Um, there might be a few more people trickling in here, but I'll get started now. Thank you all for being here to learn more about how we can together improve the well-being of people with dementia. To start, I would like to briefly introduce our multi-talented research team, where we come from, and our interests. So Adam Sobel founded CareBand in 2016. He has a background in software engineering and cybersecurity. Dr. Phyllis Gaspar is our research advisor and comes with 35 years of academic and research expertise in gerontological nursing interventions. I'm Grishma, and I recently transitioned into my role as Senior Research Manager after joining CareBand a little over a year ago. I have background in neuroscience, and I'm currently pursuing my MD and MPH degrees. Lastly, we have Erica, our newest member of our team. Originally from Tinley Park, she is a proud graduate of DePaul, and her background is in health science and public health. Though this event is virtual, I encourage interaction and engagement with our audience, so please feel free to drop questions in the Zoom chat function, and periodically we will also have times during this presentation for you to share your thoughts and answer some questions through brief polls. And then if you have any technical difficulties, our team will also be moderating the chat as well. For our webinar today, I will be briefly talking about CareBand's origin story and an overview of the technology for those of you who are hearing about us for the first time. We will cover today our research updates from ongoing and upcoming research projects, which will be categorized by our research focus areas from this year. We will end with some closing thoughts by presenting our vision moving forward and ideas for potential collaborations. On that note, let's begin. CareBand was born out of a passion to help people, and it all started with one conversation. A few years ago, Adam, who was a student at Indiana University at the time, was intrigued about this new iBeacon technology that Apple had released. And he was sharing this news with his father, Dr. Todd Sobel, who was a board certified geriatrician. Dr. Sobel shared how caregivers and care providers often worry about patients with dementia wandering. And in this conversation, Adam quickly realized how proximity-based technology could be applied to monitor wandering, a common behavior of dementia patients. So Adam Sobel started CareBand with the vision of keeping people living with dementia safe and improving their quality of life. Today, we have two lines of products. CareBand, which is our flagship solution, is designed for people living with dementia. It provides real-time indoor and outdoor location and movement tracking to reduce wandering events and monitor behaviors. Recently, that flagship CareBand technology has been adapted to create SafeTrack in the wake of COVID-19. And this helps mitigate risks associated with COVID-19, such as contact tracing. Before I begin and delve more into the research, I would like to understand what you're interested in as an audience member. So with the Zoom poll function, please choose what you're most excited to hear about. And I'll just wait a couple of seconds here as I get more responses. Okay, awesome. So it looks like there's a wide range of interest here. Many people are interested in dementia caregiving and seeing how CareBand can help with that. I will definitely focus on that in the latter half of this presentation, and also touch upon the other areas as well. Okay. Many of you are familiar with the trend of our aging population and the increasing prevalence of dementia. Age is a big risk factor for developing dementia. Although there are many causes of dementia, like dementia that results from a stroke or Parkinson's disease, the most common type is Alzheimer's dementia. Many of these numbers listed here are just for those who are diagnosed formally with Alzheimer's dementia. And keep in mind, there are other types, as well as many older adults who go undiagnosed for a long time during a prodromal period. Digging deeper into what occurs in the prodromal stage of dementia can really help caregivers and care providers take on preventative and proactive steps. Moreover, people with dementia live in various environments, from living at home, living with a caregiver, or residing at a long-term care facility. Over half of those with ADRD, or Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, living in long-term care. You can see by this figure below, they are a significant percentage of the population in different care settings, from adult day and home-based to the highest percentage in nursing homes. Right now, in the year 2020, there are 56 million older adults in the US, 5.8 million of whom are living with Alzheimer's disease. So what is it like right now for someone living with dementia? Well, one thing that has greatly impacted all of our lives is COVID-19, which brings me to a question that I would like to pose to our audience. I would like to ask you, how do you think COVID-19 has impacted the quality of life and quality of care for those with dementia for this year? How do you think their day-to-day has been impacted? Please share your thoughts in the Zoom chat, and I'll be shouting out some of your answers. Yes, isolation and disruption in daily routines. Routines are a big factor in the quality of life of someone with dementia. It really helps with their treatment plan. Yes, lack of access to caregivers. That's a huge one. People might not be able to visit their family members in long-term care facilities, more isolation and loneliness, extreme isolation, yes, less interaction in going places, less exercise, limited routine care. These are all great impacts. Like these are definitely true. Increased infection rate due to reduced compliance and social distancing, cleaning. That's a great one. I think that is definitely an impact from COVID-19, because if you're not able to leave your room or if you're interacting with people, that may impact your risk of transmission. Less mental stimulation, yes. So all of these changes that had to be taken place with COVID-19 and ensuring that limited risk of disease transmission, older adults have been reported to avoid medical care. And now many doctors and provider visits have even turned to online platforms like teletherapy. So there is concern for reaching out to people who have limited access to internet or are not able to use technology solutions. So with the impacts of COVID-19, the aging population, and the limited capacity of the current healthcare infrastructure, providing innovative solutions intentionally designed for people with dementia is needed now more than ever. What does that mean to have intentional or meaningful design? Well, something easy to use, safe, and unobtrusive would be the least restrictive for someone with dementia. And for a caregiver or care provider, it would be helpful for such a tool to provide insight into the health condition as well. With the advent of of smart technology and the many ways technology is used to augment our world today, it is clear that using similar technology for empowering people with dementia to live at home longer and safer is an achievable mission. In fact, research suggests that wearable technology has the potential to overcome limitations that are more costly and invasive in nature. Sensor-based technology can be used to find digital biomarkers, or a set of symptoms or behaviors or disease manifestations unique to dementia that appear earlier on and can help in assessing and monitoring ADRD. Let's talk more about what CareBand actually is. CareBand is a patent-pending wearable solution that aims to keep people with dementia safe and provide peace of mind to caregivers. It tracks indoor and outdoor location, activity, and movement. It features an optional help button, has a 3-day battery life with only a 30-minute wireless recharge, and it's capable of so much more. The way CareBand is made possible is through the LoRa network, which is a long-range, low-power network similar to Wi-Fi, but with a 2-mile range. LoRa is able to transmit large amounts of data in tiny packets over long distances and with small amounts of power. This is incredibly beneficial because the challenges with Wi-Fi is that it has a small range. And with GPS, location tracking indoors is not feasible. Infrastructurally, it is super easy to set up. It takes only 30 minutes. And it's also a plus that international networks are also already established. So with our remote monitoring platform, powered by LoRa, we are able to track and aggregate indoor and outdoor location, movement, and activity data based on current and historical usage, along with potential physiological and environmental factors to develop predictive capabilities. Our activity, movement, and location monitoring technology can create predictive analytics that can be used for measuring the effects of an intervention, such as a new drug or therapy, serve as an objective or alternate source of data for family care meetings, and alert caregivers on changes in condition. From the raw activity, movement, and location tracking data, we can implement machine learning techniques such as statistical relation, and we can use these techniques to understand patterns for a person. And these patterns can then be translated to the risk of different health outcomes. For instance, bathroom visits across a relevant period of time, like you can see in that figure on the right, can be correlated to a risk for a UTI. Now that we have a foundation for what CareBand is and the potential of sensor-based technology, I will now talk more about our research and why we do it. Research studies enable us to validate outcomes based on accumulation of accurate location data and activity patterns. They also help in monitoring symptoms and measuring clinical outcomes. CareBand research is dedicated to improving the lives of those with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias by conducting evidence-based research to obtain measurable clinical outcomes. I'm proud to say that our list of research partners has grown tremendously within the last year, and you can see a few of them here. Our current and ongoing research projects are focused on 3 areas. The first is addressing caregivers. Second, we have detected neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia. And last, we have incorporating social determinants of health to design meaningful health technology. Let's start with caregiving. In 2019, caregivers of people with dementia or other dementias provided an estimated 18.6 billion hours of informal, that is unpaid, assistance, a contribution to the nation that is valued at $244 billion. Moreover, dementia caregivers are classified as having a higher higher level of burden than caregivers of people without dementia and are more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety, depression, and chronic disease. Caregiving is challenging, it's time consuming, and it's strenuous. Wearable technology like CareBand, again, holds some incredible potential in assisting caregivers by providing a tool to not only provide some added safety, but one that can detect acute changes. These are acute changes that maybe caregivers are less likely to recognize day by day and are only able to recognize after a significant worsening of symptoms has occurred. How are we proving out our solution in this focus area? In collaboration with a team of clinicians at Edward Hines VA Hospital in Illinois, we are starting a pilot study with community dwelling, care recipient, and caregiver dyads from their home based primary care program. The 4-week study aims to look at how utilizing CareBand affects caregiver stress and burden. Additionally, to further understand the needs of individuals living at home with their families, we have an existing collaboration with the Rural Center of Engagement at Indiana University, where we are following older adults using CareBand for a longer period of time. Our second research focus area is the neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia, which are common features of ADRD and are one of the major risk factors for institutionalization. Research suggests that these symptoms, which are not meant to be mistaken with cognitive symptoms hallmark of dementia, like cognitive impairment, these manifest earlier and even potentially way before in the prodromal or pre-dementia stage. Neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia affect patients nearly universally across dementia stages and etiologies, and it has been found that neuropsychiatric symptoms often constitute the most worry to caregivers and providers. And although psychotropic medication can be used to manage these symptoms, non-pharmacological behavior and activity-focused treatment like music therapy and exercise has been shown to be more beneficial. Worsening of neuropsychiatric symptoms can lead to poor health outcomes, including excess morbidity and mortality, increased healthcare utilization, and earlier nursing home placement, as well as caregiver stress, depression, and reduced employment. Many of these symptoms are hard to keep track of and monitor, and often are clinically recognized only through paper and pencil, standardized instruments, or interviews. So in this research focus area of understanding neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia, CareBand is looking to monitor behavioral symptoms to detect biomarkers of ADRD. Currently, we are in the midst of our ongoing NIH-funded SBIR study in partnership with Indiana University and seeing if CareBand can pick up on agitation among memory care residents in a long-term care facility. Engagement, which is the act of being occupied or involved with an external stimulus, whether inanimate or animate, is another behavior we are looking at in a pending SBIR in collaboration with Cleveland State University School of Nursing. Research has shown that higher levels of engagement can be a positive measure and help slow cognitive decline and lessen neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia. Another way CareBand hopes to incorporate usable and proactive metrics into the technology is through studying life space in a pending study with the University of Minnesota Duluth's Memory Keepers Medical Discovery Team. Life space is a relatively novel term used to describe the amount of interaction a person has with their living environment. Research has shown that lower life space scores can exacerbate symptoms of dementia, such as the neuropsychiatric symptoms, and even cognitive decline. So looking at whether someone has gone out of their room, their house, or their yard, and in what capacity, and like their movement, their speed, and quality of movement, as well as their location and behavior, all will ultimately result in a life space performance score, which is what we hope to accomplish in ascertaining with this study. With this next slide, I would like to visually take you through the steps of monitoring neuropsychiatric symptoms and what we see CareBand becoming with these new capabilities. So, understanding the sociobehavioral experience of dementia through factors that are individual and caregiver dependent, including factors that might be affecting one's health, as well as their physical and behavioral phenotype, can be included in monitoring the neuropsychiatric symptoms of dementia. So these could include agitation, apathy, anxiety, and depression. And formulating all of that we can create a clinical decision support tool that can integrate to EMRs, communicate to caregivers and clinicians, report changes indicative of an acute health condition, and monitor changes in cognitive ability. So to summarize the second research focus area again, I want to hit it home that through sociobehavioral observation of the dementia experience, we can gain a tremendous amount of insight that can ultimately help us detect biomarkers and provide insight into one's health condition. Our last and final research focus area is incorporating social determinants of health to design meaningful health technology. At CareBand, we recognize that technology availability, especially for those who are in rural or hard to reach areas, may not be readily available. And moreover, we understand that part of meaningful design is designing technology that is culturally sensitive. Again, with our collaboration with the researchers and experts at the Memory Keepers Medical Discovery Team at the University of Minnesota, we are evaluating the needs of those in underserved regions, particularly among Indigenous communities. In fact, our collaboration with the team has led to our first peer-reviewed publication, which was a result of conducting focus group discussions on the peace of mind that CareBand could offer caregivers and people in these communities. CareBand is a great example of how collecting data in one way can really make a difference in other realms too. In the wake of COVID-19, we have expanded our scope and adapted our existing existing tracking technology to create SafeTrack. SafeTrack is a COVID management solution built on wearable devices and is currently being piloted for feasibility and usability in a variety of settings, specifically in one assisted living facility, a university, and a manufacturing site. I'll go into a little bit of detail about one of these pilots, where we are working with a health economist and public health researcher on how SafeTrack impacts social distancing behavior and how it can make manual contact tracing more efficient. So with that, comes our final poll question. Please answer using the Zoom poll function. Which of these future applications of CareBand are you the most excited about? So the list of options that you see here are potential collaboration ideas that we hope to strive for in the following year. Just gonna give it one more second. Okay. So we have a wide variety of responses again, but I think it just goes to show the incredible potential that CareBand and wearable technology could offer. So with that, whether you're a researcher based in healthcare, gerontology, public health, or data science, or if you're working in long-term care, assisted living, home health, whether you're a nurse or a clinician, or if you're actively providing care for people with dementia, we would love to hear your ideas. What are your ideas? We would love to have a conversation about how we can collaborate. So with I believe that is the end of our presentation here, and I have here my contact information. We love to talk, so here is my contact information as well as Adam's. Please stay in touch, and thank you so much for your time and attention today. I